also check our past and future activities on all our social media. At the end of the panel discussion, we will be taking questions from our audience. So feel free to use the chat, and we will try to get to as many of your questions as possible. My name is Nuria Levy, and I am the Program Director for Innovation and Entrepreneurship here at the MCTC, the Golda Meir Mashav Carmel Training Center. Our center was founded here in Haifa back in 1961 by Mashav, the Israel's Agency for International Development and Cooperation, as part of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And we conduct training activities in the socioeconomic arena with emphasis on gender equality. For those of you that haven't had a chance yet to be here in our center in Haifa, MCTC conducts training activities, seminars, and high-level conferences, both here in Israel and also overseas, focusing on 3 areas of study, which is sustainable community development, innovation and entrepreneurship, and early childhood education and development. These areas are all in line with the 2030 United Nations Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals. Now, Israel is sitting in one of the hottest innovation and technology hubs in the world, with over 6,000 active startups and an economy dominated by industrial, high-tech, and entrepreneurship. Disruptive innovation across various industries is rapidly changing the global corporate landscape, creating new challenges and opportunities for businesses. Today, we're going to hear from some of these amazing startups, also mentioned by the prestigious Time magazine, and together we'll explore the important issues that gives birth to a global startup capable of changing the world that we live in. So I would like to welcome our panelists. We've got Dr. Shimrit Perkol-Fenkel with us, Dr. Nessie Benitzi, Ms. Savia Badar, and Mr. Zach Fenster with us. Thank you all for being here with us today. It's a real pleasure that you could join us. Shimrit, I think you're with us now.
Yes, and I apologize. I have a problem with the computer, so I'm going to be joining you from my
perfectly
phone.
Fine. Don't you worry about that. So I'll start with Dr. Shimrit. She's the co-founder and the CEO of EcoConcrete. She has over 20 years experience in the field of marine biology and ecology, diving and exploring different environments in more than 30 countries. Shimrit specializes in ecological enhancement of urban marine habitats and is considered an expert in ecological engineering and environmentally sensitive design of coastlines and marine infrastructure. She has also served as an ecological advisor for Israel's Marine Spatial Planning Program. In 2018, she was selected as the We Empower Awardee for advancing United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and has received many prestigious awards, amongst them the European Union Women Innovators Award. She holds a BSc in Life Sciences, an MSc and a PhD in Zoology, all from the Tel Aviv University, and has conducted a postdoc in the University of Bologna in Italy. So again, Shimrit, it's a pleasure to have you here with us. I'm going to play for all of you a little video so you understand a little bit more about the startup that she's currently running. So bear with me for a second.
EcoConcrete brings urban and coastal concrete infrastructures to life using proprietary bio-enhanced concrete. 2/3 of the world population concentrated around coastlines, exposed to ever-increasing extreme weather events and rising sea levels. Accelerated coastal development is inevitable, creating tremendous pressure on marine ecosystems. 70% of coastal infrastructure is concrete-based. Our science-based concrete compositions, textures, and designs enhance the biological performance and ecological value of concrete structures while increasing their durability and lifespan. EcoConcrete provides services from A to Z. from site analysis, concepts and design, through product supply to project monitoring. Our technologies can be applied as ready-to-use precast products or by using our unique forms alongside our bioenhancing admixtures. The company's line of precast products currently includes ecological armoring units, enhanced seawalls, designed tide pools, and articulated concrete marine mattresses. Our forms, liners, and admixtures can be used for on-site casting of new elements or for retrofitting structures like pier piles. These can also be used by licensed partners at their home facility. All our products are tailored to encourage growth of diverse plants and animals, such as oysters and corals, which build calcitic skeletons on the concrete. In a process called bioprotection, this calcitic layer encases the concrete, contributing to the strength and stability of the structure. Our patented bioenhancing admixtures have been fully tested in a variety of marine ecosystems across the globe, yielding excellent results. We have succeeded in creating a win-win solution for both thriving ecosystems and high-performance concrete structures. The scientists and professionals at eConcrete are proud to be at the forefront of the next generation of ecological engineers, and we invite you to join us.
That was fantastic to see.
Thank you.
So, Himrit, nice to have you with
thank
us.
you. Thank you so much for this platform, and it's a pleasure to virtually meet everybody. Coming today, speaking to you from Israel, Tel Aviv, where our headquarters are. We're very excited about driving new concepts in ecological engineering across the globe. Basically, that's our mission. So, as you saw in the video, we're working really at the interface of having humans populating our coastlines at very, very high numbers, and the marine environment that really touches our cities and our communities. As a marine biologist, the vision that we are seeing is that in the future, there's not going to be any more projects that are touching the water. If it's a port, a marina, a city waterfront, even an offshore development project, that will be conducted without taking environment into consideration. That's really what we're trying to do here. And it's quite a profound change in a very traditional industry, because eConcrete is working with stakeholders from the port authorities, from city development corporations, municipalities, governments, and obviously working with the concrete and the construction industry. So all of these are very much traditional, set in their ways, and we are now driving a change to integrate ecological considerations, sustainable development goals, environmental considerations into the operation, design, and implementation of these types of projects. As a company, we started working basically in 2012, when we started validating the technology. It's not simple to go ahead and prove the capacity of a concrete element to develop a rich and diverse ecosystem. So it took us quite a while to go about and to study this in different ecosystems. We worked in the Red Sea, in the Mediterranean, and across the east coast of the US, really from Florida Keys.
We lost your sound.
Sanctuary system, the Georgia Port Authorities, and others. And that was kind of the first phase. And then we scaled up into actual project level and worked. Now we have 30 different installations from Europe to the US, even Hong Kong, working to really make an industry change. I think that from my perspective, the goal is to raise awareness, to actually suggest ways to make this into a new norm as a part of policies, as a part of actual guidelines for construction, so that any project that has any responsibility on the coastal and marine environment will actually be conducted in a way that's much more nature inclusive. That's basically my angle, and we're now looking to grow and to expand. And we've just been awarded a couple of very significant projects, both funded under the EU. One of the big last maybe H2020 projects to be funded, and we have a new R&D project with a big cement company in the US for the offshore wind arena. So we're looking forward for a successful 2021.
And we wish you all the best from here as well. You actually say 2012 as if it was a long time ago. To me, it seems like it's an incredible achievement between then and today of what you've actually done. So well done and amazing to hear about your startup. We're going to continue now with our next speaker, Dr. Nessie Benitzi from Ceylog. He holds an MSc and a PhD in theoretical physics from Cambridge and Oxford universities. Before founding Ceylog, Nessie co-founded and served as a CTO at Augmedix and was the core technology inventor at CathWorks. Nessie led algorithms development for medical imaging companies and achieved the proof of concept for many medical device startups. Along his career, Nessie won numerous awards, including the Wolf Prize for Excellency in Science, and published several publications in exclusive international journals. Nessie is not new to our panels, and it's great to see you once more here. I'm going to play a little short video about his latest startup, which I'm going to share with you just now. Just bear with me. There we go.
Agrio is the world's first digital management platform that streamlines the entire crop protection workflow to help organizations reduce operational inefficiency and costs. With Agrio, scouting routes are optimized based on real-time assessments and automatically assigned to inspectors who can easily access the day's briefing from the Agrio app. Powered by artificial intelligence, the Agrio app identifies crop anomalies, so farmers and inspectors can snap a photo, diagnose what's wrong, and get treatment recommendations instantly, allowing even inexperienced inspectors to generate professional plant protection reports quickly and accurately. Agrio also helps to prevent damages with Agrio Shield, the first ever AI-based alert system that predicts the spread of pests and diseases, providing alerts and precaution suggestions so users can monitor high-risk locations and take preventative measures when it counts. And all that information is shared in Workgroup, a private and secure platform that streamlines internal communication across your organization and allowing teams to collaborate and organizations to record, organize, and manage crop protection activities, including offering their own input products and protection advice. And for the first time, large-scale plant protection operations can be managed effortlessly in Dashboard, where supervisors can monitor Workgroup in real time, track productivity, assign tasks, manage alerts, set protocols, and explore AI-powered analytics to uncover insights and ensure your business is growing in the right direction. This is the future of crop protection. This is Agrio.
Okay, so Nessie, we give you the platform. I'll stop sharing just now, sorry.
Thank you for the opportunity to present my startup. So Ceylog is a Tel Aviv-based startup. We started 3 years ago, and our goal is to help farmers to do a better plant protection. And we are focused on low-income nations because we think that the gap of knowledge there is more extreme. The problems in agriculture, mainly in plant protection, are that there are not enough experts that can support the farmers around the world. And due to that, 40% of the yield is being lost. What we identified is that most of the work in plant protection is being done by the visual sense. So experts are coming to the field, they inspect the plants, and based on that, they are able to provide the diagnosis and treatment recommendations. And we are in the age in which we did a lot of advancement in artificial intelligence. Right now, we know how to train computers to do visual inspection and pattern detection very well. So we thought that it's a good timing to try to develop a scalable solution that can support farmers with plant protection. The idea was to allow farmers to take pictures and help them to identify problems in their field, and on the way to collect something that is very valuable, to collect a real-time mapping of the diseases and pests around the world that we can also cross-validate with satellite images and make a scalable solution, not just to the identification problem, but also to the monitoring, so that farmers can, in the first time, use an affordable solution to monitor their fields with satellites and identify very early places in the field that need to go and be inspected. So the app is being used by almost 500,000 farmers around the world. Millions of images from smartphones and satellites were already being diagnosed. And we are supporting 16 different languages all around the world. And there is a very nice growth of usage, mainly in recent time due to the COVID that made it even more challenging for inspectors to meet with the farmers, to come to the fields, and farmers learned and saw that digital solution can provide a very good solution to this problem. That's it. I will be happy to discuss with you. If you want, feel free to contact with me, and I will be able to answer your questions and develop it further.
Thank you so much, Nessie. And all of that in a few years. I think that's a very impressive startup. Thank you so much. So we're going to now move on to Tzivia Badar. She's the co-founder and CEO of Trajectory. She's a savvy and experienced entrepreneur with decades of experience in business development, product marketing, and strategy. Prior to co-founding Trajectory, Tzivia headed the global business unit at Amdocs, where she was responsible for building a new product growth strategy, as well as for global sales and marketing. Tzivia was the founder and CEO of Kido App, an iOS Android-based family scheduling technological solutions, and Vocative, a startup aiming at identifying fake news in social media using advanced analytics. Tzivia was also held different business development and marketing positions in several tech companies, including B2B and B2C. She holds an MSc degree from the University of Nottingham in the United Kingdom. Tzivia, it's so lovely to have you with us, even though you're so far away in the United States. I'm just going to play your little video, and then we'll hear from you.
You are about to discover that there may be many more new treatment options for your cancer. So why don't you know about them already? Because the treatment of cancer is evolving literally every day. Better understanding of the disease, new research, new trials. It's become impossible for you and your oncologist to be aware of the latest treatments, and these are the ones that are likely to improve your odds in beating cancer. That's why we, as cancer patients and scientists, have developed Trajectory, a smart AI technology that presents you with the very latest treatments available today. First, you fill out our friendly questionnaire with your current condition. Then, the Trajectory engine analyzes huge amounts of information, treatments, and the FDA centralized database of trials. And finally, we provide you with the best treatment match for you. We also tell you what the treatment goal is, how and where it's administered, and we even let you compare your journey to other patients with the same condition. It's free for patients and always will be. You're not alone in this journey. Our clinical trial experts will help you to understand your options and guide you through the next steps, empowering you to take control of your cancer treatment. Find out what your options really are Trajectory.
Okay, Xavier, thank you so much again. What an amazing startup.
Thank you all, and thank you for having me this morning. So we are also, I think, 2.5 years in the making. Trajectory, with offices in Tel Aviv and in Connecticut in the U.S. As it's shown from the video, what we're trying to do is bridge the gap between new innovative treatment option to actually have it get to the patients who need it most. What we've identified is that there is a huge gap in terms of the research and the innovation coming into play in the care of cancer. And, cancer is still one of the biggest diseases that are, unfortunately, the pandemic, even with the COVID, it's still increasing. It's now impacting 1 out of 4 men, 1 out of 5 women. And although there is a lot of investment and innovation and treatments coming into play, the majority of the patients are still receiving the same care that they have been receiving for the last 20, 15 years. And the reason for it is twofold. A, there is vast different volume of option and it's changing rapidly, making it really hard for anybody to keep up with it. On the other hand, the new treatment are what we call trending towards personalized medicine, meaning the more we know about the individual, his disease, characteristic, genetic mutation, biomarkers, treatment history, a lot more attributes come into play, and the art of matching patient to a treatment become complex. And that creates a bottleneck. Now, when you think about the journey of us as patient, when you think about the journey of any one of us as individual, the one place that we are completely dependent on one source of information, unfortunately, is our journey to health. If you think about it, we're in an era that we manage majority of our life online. That was pre-COVID, and COVID expedited in different countries. So banking industry, insurance industry, shopping, a lot of things moved to digital. But in terms of identifying and being able to manage our journey to health, we still have a very hard dependency on whatever the oncologists know. So this creates the barrier for patients to get the best and the most advanced treatment. Unless you're being treated in the best research institution, you're not going to get access to the best of care. And that's what Trajectory is about. So what we were able to develop is, and it wasn't an easy task, I must admit, was being able to develop an engine that is artificial intelligence based, that can actually read through treatment protocol and from them extract what patient they're looking for. And then, as you've seen in the video, basically allow a patient to come in, tell a little bit about his condition, and get a match to optional treatment. We're not only stopping there, we take this information and we make it accessible for patients, meaning curate it, make it into a simple language so patient can understand what is this treatment, what does it do, what is it hoping to achieve, how is it giving. So we give patients a lot of giving back the power that was taken with the disease in order to be able to identify the best treatment option for them and help give them the best of option and the best of resource to actually win over cancer. So that's our mission in life, and that's what we do.
That's amazing, Xavier. As you said, so many people affected by the disease. Anything that can be done is very, very welcome. And your startup is really outstanding. I'm going to now introduce our last of our panelists, Mr. Zach Fenster from WaterGen. Zach is currently the Vice President of Business Development and previously the Chief of Staff to the Chairman of WaterGen, the revolutionary Israeli company bringing drinking water from air to people everywhere. So prior to that, Zach served in the Defense Ministry Coordination of Government Activities in the Territories Unit, working directly with the Israeli, Palestinian, and international governments and organizations in order to address critical civilian issues in the territories. Zach previously served as a deal flow analyst at Sadara Ventures and was the founding director of the Palestinian Internship Program. Zach is a graduate of Middlesbrough College and Tel Aviv University and currently pursuing an executive MBA in the Kellogg-Recanati Business School. Welcome, Zach. It's really nice to see you. I'm
Great
going
to be with
to,
you here. Thank you.
thanks. I'm going to play our little video for WaterGen, and then I'll give you a chance to speak.
Fresh water. It seems like it's everywhere, but it's not. And there just isn't enough to drink. Most of the world is facing a drinking water crisis. By 2040, large metropolitan cities will face water shortages, and millions of people will search for water resources. But there is an answer. Just look around. The atmosphere is the world's single source of pure water. WaterGen offers a revolutionary technology, providing pure, fresh, clean drinking water for everyone, everywhere, and saving millions of lives. Our innovative Genius technology extracts fresh water directly from the air, as simple as it sounds. The air is drawn into WaterGen's device, where filters remove dust and dirt. The clean air flows through the patented heat exchange technology, where condensation occurs and water is created. A unique filtration and mineralization process enables it to maintain fresh, tasty, and healthy water, which is stored in a built-in reservoir where it is continuously circulated to keep it fresh. Using WaterGen's state-of-the-art technology offers decentralized solutions for various applications, from home and office up to communities, smart cities, and nations. Our systems are independent of municipal water pipes and offer the best energy-efficient atmospheric water generator technology. Jenny, a small unit for home or office use. Gen M, for small communities, buildings, neighborhoods, schools, hospitals, smart cities, outdoor events, and more. Gen M ERV and mobile trailer. Mobile life-saving solution for remote locations and disaster areas. Gen On Board, an integrated unit inside vehicles providing passengers with fresh water on the go. Gen L, a game-changing decentralized solution for villages and off-grid settlements where there is no drinking water. Low in energy consumption, WaterGen's products can be operated with any power source, including generators and solar panels. WaterGen's global footprint with manufacturing facilities and partners in 4 continents enable us to provide the most innovative, energy efficient, and environmentally friendly water from air solutions worldwide. Our vision is to stop the cycle of poverty and create the cycle of prosperity by providing access for every man, woman, and child with fresh, clean, and safe drinking water. WaterGen, creating drinking water from air for people everywhere.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just going to stop this. Okay, Zach.
Thank you, everyone. It's great to be with you here today, and thank you to MCTC and Mashav and really all of you for being here. It's it would have been great to be able to speak with you in person, but in today's day and age, this is the next best thing, and it's a pleasure to be here. So I'll speak very briefly because I want to leave as much time for questions as possible. But as you saw from the video, WaterGen is doing something very unique and special in the world. We're making drinking water from the air. And I know that that might sound like science fiction, but I can assure you that it is very, very real. We have become the global leader in drinking water from air technology. And we do so by virtue of a very unique device, a very unique solution, which we developed in-house. And we now have a very robust global portfolio of patents in the world. Basically, these are all relating to a very unique heat exchanger. Heat exchanger is something that you'll find in many appliances around the world, and it basically turns hot into cold. When there is some moisture in the hot air, of course, and you meet it with cold air, then the water molecules group together and actually become liquid. So this is actually something that we're familiar with in your air conditioners. For example, at home, you might have this phenomenon. The question is, how do you do this in a dry environment? How do you do it in a way that's scalable and economic? And how do you do it, most importantly, in a way that actually creates the best quality drinking water? And this is what our unique patented technology can do. We like to call it the genius, because it generates water and it does so in the most sophisticated and smart way possible. And like I said, this genius has many, many patents around the world. And with this technology, WaterGen has essentially deployed the genius inside of a bunch of different products, each one of which is meant for different contexts and produce different amounts of water. So we have our largest machine, for example, which produces up to 5,000 liters of clean drinking water a day, enough for thousands of people, down to our smallest home and office unit, which produces up to 30 liters per day and is meant for families and offices and companies, etc. And we've also developed a very advanced, actually, mobile unit to deploy the genius inside of cars, trucks, buses, recreational vehicles, etc. So we're really providing water on land, on sea, and actually we're working on a solution for the air as well. I'd say we're not quite a startup anymore because we are now present in more than 80 countries around the world distributing, but we're growing all of the time, and it will be my pleasure to answer any questions and also connect with any audience members later on in order to explore the possibility of bringing this unique Israeli solution to your communities and bringing the best quality drinking water to the people where you live. But just to give you some examples, we're doing this all over the world. So just in the past year alone, WaterGen worked from the Gaza Strip to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, from the United States to the United Arab Emirates, in contexts as diverse as hospitals, schools, emergency response, offices, homes, sporting events when they were still happening at the beginning of the year, et cetera, the list goes on. So we're working around the world and there's many contexts, but really, if I can leave you with one very, very important message, and what really drives us, is that from our perspective, in today's day and age, it's unthinkable that even one person in the world could be lacking the clean drinking water that he or she needs. And yet we know that not only is this the situation, but it's actually becoming worse and worse. The drinking water crisis around the world is becoming more and more severe. And we're guided and led by the vision of our owner and president, Dr. Michael Mirilashvili, who basically leads WaterGen in order to completely solve this global drinking water crisis by virtue of our drinking water from air technology, and make sure that every single person, no matter if they're in the Americas or Asia or Africa or the Middle East or anywhere, is guaranteed the clean drinking water that they require without any fear of disease or infection or anything like that. So this is what we're doing. We're proud to be doing so from Israel. And we're proud to be working with partners around the world, such as yourselves, in order to make this vision a reality. So thank you very much again, and looking forward to taking any questions.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for showing us your amazing startups. Now, all of them, or personally, at a personal level, like you, Nessie, were all mentioned in the Times Magazine 100 Best Inventions of 2019 and 2020. Hence the reason which I thought it would be a great idea to showcase for our participants worldwide. Obviously, you're one of quite a few Israeli startups that were mentioned in the magazine. And many of our audience either are startups themselves, or they're thinking of starting one, they're entrepreneurs, or they work with different entrepreneurs, whether it's a business development center or an incubator, an accelerator. And they want to know, and they're looking for inspiration from the Israeli ecosystem. So that would be our first question to you, would be to how is the Israeli ecosystem help you personally or your startup to reach your goals and your position today? Who would like to take this question?
Has a problem. Please look at her message.
Nessie, perhaps you would like to take that question?
Yeah, sure. So I think that the first thing is the culture. The culture is supporting individuals to take risks. And once we decide to take the risk and do something which is we think is meaningful and that the impact will be powerful if it will be achieved, there are many people here in Israel that already made it. They know how to do it. They are happy to support with advice. There's all the ecosystem of the accelerators in which you can find help in the beginning, network of developers that worked in startups that made it. They know the process. So I think that this is a very strong thing that we were able to build in Israel, this ecosystem. It's mainly that, I think.
Okay. Shimrit, in your case?
Yes, in my case, I think it's a little bit special. Actually, maybe it's for everybody because a lot of the companies that you show today are not just operating in Israel. So for us, specifically, the market in Israel is very limited, and we are targeting an international market. What we've been, I think one of the things is really the approach, and I think that comes down to that chutzpah or the confidence. So that's definitely something that I can tell that is essential. Another thing that we've had is a lot of work with incubators and networks from Israel that were very effective. I can give a couple of examples. One of them is the work through the A200 EISP program. That's a specific kind of incubator system that is interlinked with some of the army forces in Israel. It's basically an amazing resource of a network that it doesn't really matter who I need to approach. I can typically within 2 or 3 connected dots, I can get to that person. So that's one thing that I think is very unique coming out of Israel. And another example I can give you is an accelerator program for Israeli technologies that are going into the Florida market. That's called FIBA, the Florida Israel Business Accelerator. So again, it's a network that is generated specifically for Israeli companies, and it helps us deploy, make connections, integrate into the network very efficiently, and also tap into the cultural element, because the culture is different from market to market, and you need somebody to kind of shed light on those differences sometimes. So that's mainly where I see our contribution from the Israeli perspective, just as example.
Thank you so much. Sylvia, my next question was what was the aspect of starting your company that surprised you the most?
Surprised me the most? It's a good question. I went to it open, eyes wide open. It's not my first one, so I knew all along it's not going to be an easy one. When you make the decision to start a startup, you need to realize that there's going to be a lot of downs and ups, and it's going to be a roller coaster, and it's never easy. Even though you think it's easy, it's never easy. I think for me, there was 2 things that from a difficulty perspective were a little bit surprising. I was sure when we started to raise our first seed money that because cancer is such a thing that impacts everybody and everybody experience in some shape or form, that and what we're offering here is really advanced solution that benefit everybody, the patients, the oncologists, that we help them keep in touch with the latest innovation, the pharmaceutical company, that it will be very easy to raise because the need is known and we're doing good along the way. But that was not the case. So people thought that they understand the need, but they still didn't think we can make money out of doing good and out of not charging patient. And I was a little bit like shocked. Why would you go to the patient? Why would you go to the weakest link? And there is a very valid business model that now we've proven that we can make money from the pharmaceutical, from the industry, from the pharmaceutical company. But that was still, I was shocked to see that just by solving a problem that is a real and doing good in the means that it's not enough. It wasn't enough. I think that was the first thing that kind of surprised me. And I think the other thing that was a little bit did not surprise me, but was challenging, is that solving it from a technological perspective was not not easy as we anticipate. We never anticipated to be easy, but the challenge to build this artificial intelligence base and being able to create machine learning that is accurate enough to provide value was challenging and did take us longer than we anticipated in a lot of senses. We're there now, but it was definitely, we underestimated the time and effort it will require us to get to the level that we feel comfortable to launch even an MVP, which is a minimal viable product.
Yeah. Our next question would be, how different is your company or product today from when you first started? I'll ask who wants to answer this one, maybe Zach or Nessie, you want to answer?
Sure. I can say completely different, obviously. So I mentioned in my comments both the core technology, which is this water from air technology, and the products. And to make a long story short, basically what happened is that WaterGen was actually initially founded by a couple of investors 10 years ago. So the actual core technology has been in development for a very, very long time. And they were actually focused mostly on military solutions, basically, coming out of Israel and having experienced the military, etc. But because our water from air technology is very, very efficient, and because, as I was mentioning before, heat exchangers are actually present in a very wide range of appliances, they were approached by many, world-leading appliance companies in order to see if they could deploy our unique heat exchanger, the Genius, inside of the other appliances and take it sort of in a different direction from drinking water altogether, from creating drinking water altogether. And around this time is when they actually met with Dr. Mirilashvili, the owner and president who I mentioned. And he, being, I think, a global business leader and also a philanthropist, was aware of the drinking water crisis, and I think had a very clear understanding that, it's great to make appliances more electrically efficient, but when there's a global drinking water crisis and there are people who don't have the water that they need in order to survive, who don't have the most basic, fundamental resource, this is much more urgent than anything else. And so he basically took control of WaterGen. He asked the inventors who we met with what types of offers they were receiving from these other companies, and gave them an even better one in order to take the company in this direction. And so for the past few years, we've been both making the core technology of the Genius more advanced, but also deploying it inside of completely new civilian-focused, community-focused solutions. And so if you take where WaterGen was 10 years ago, when it was focused on either more military solutions or more, just appliance solutions more broadly, and you look at where we are today, where we have a range of different consumer products, like I mentioned before, small and big, stationary and on the go, we're a completely different, our solutions are completely different. And again, all with the goal and purpose of creating that drinking water exactly where it's needed in your communities and in your homes. So we've definitely traveled a very long way.
Very good. Thank you so much. What kind of industries and what kind of people will be using your product? Shimrit, I wanted to ask you this question.
Yes, actually we have quite a diverse lineup of potential customers and even segments. So let's say from the highest level, it's actually governmental projects because a lot of the coastal defenses and big infrastructure projects are run by federal or at the state level. And we've been working actively with, for example, with the Hong Kong Department of Engineering and with the Monaco Environmental Agency. So we do get engaged at that level, or storm recovery projects in places that have hurricanes, etc. Another segment is the port community, so port authorities, and again, that could be a hybrid of working under government or even World Bank projects sometimes, which we haven't tapped into, but we're definitely seeing a lot of potential there. And then city level, breakwaters, defense schemes, waterfronts. So that's kind of at the B2G level. And then we also work with companies. I mean, a lot of the engagement that we have with the engineering firms that are typically multinational and are designing those projects. And sometimes it's even the landscape architects, it depends where, that are doing those, very interesting parks that are at the interface between the city and the water. So that's kind of a spectrum of our activity and our clients. And finally, there's the offshore market that is very much emerging, especially with the energy transition. We're working a lot now towards the offshore wind arena. We have some protection schemes for the turbines. And then there's a whole different set of stakeholders that we're engaged with. I think for our challenge, and I saw there's a question about challenges that taps into this, is first of all, we have a lot of stakeholders. Second is that we have to engage very early in the project stage, in the design stage, in the very initial planning stage, in order to have the technology penetrate into actual implementation. So very long life cycle of a project, and also a lot of stakeholders involved.
Okay, thank you so much. One of the biggest issues that our startups or any entrepreneur has, it doesn't matter from which country, is finance. So I would wanted to direct this question to Nessie because of your experience of having had started so many of them. How did you raise financing for your startup? What tips can you give to the entrepreneurs and the startups that actually listen to us today?
Yeah, so I did it in different ways in the past. So when I was doing medical devices, there was a need to raise money in order to develop the MVP before we can generate revenues. And there, I think that there are several models that we used. One, which is the best, I think, if you ask me, is to go and try to find some kind of first client that will be happy to buy in a discount for the first day and allow you to finance the development. In other startups that I was part of and created, we also used the government money. So we went to accelerators that are funded by the government. Is a very good way, especially in Israel, if the technology is very risky and it's not easy to go to a VC and raise the money, the government usually like it and they will put the money. And there are also the models in which you can create a company that generate revenues very fast so that the company will be able to be self-sustained. And I think that in places in which you can do that, this possibility can be a very interesting one.
Thank you so much. Sylvia, I wanted to ask you regarding also finance. Obviously, you're now in the United States, which is quite common for many of the Israeli startups because of the world outlook to end up in the States. But would you say it's necessary to have a whole host of pitching decks, strategies, depending on the investor that you're going to be speaking to?
I think definitely so. I think you need to look at raising money and pitching to VCs the same way you look at selling. You need to understand where they're coming from, what is their focus, and basically base your pitch on that. So if their focus is technology, then you need to tell a story that it's showing your innovation on the technology side, whether you submitted a patent, why is it patentable, what's unique about what you're offering. If it's and I'll give you another example. If it's a VC, like in our case, we have some VCs that were on the technology focus and others that are more interested in marketplace approach, which is what we're offering. So they'll focus on the marketplace, explain how the markets at forces from the demand to supply work. So you have to be able to really do your due diligence before any meeting with VCs, understand what they invested before, what do they care about, what's their principal mission, and everything is online. They publish it, it's very visible, so you can really prepare well. Maybe also check in your network if anybody of their existing portfolio company is someone you can get hold of. And my colleagues before mentioned, in Israel, usually it's 2 free phone calls away, but because mainly I can share with you that my investors, we're their first Israeli company. I'm happy to say that not the last, so we opened the gate for others, but so there was no one in my network that I could reach out, but definitely find someone in the network that reach out and knows them and learn from them. But basically come well prepared to it, understand the value proposition they're looking for and your value proposition.
Thank you so much. I don't know if Shimri or Zach had anything to add on to that aspect. If not, I would like to ask another question regarding, and this is a difficult one I'm going to ask you. If you could go back in time, knowing what you know today, what would you do differently? Shimrit?
I'm not sure that I would change a lot of things or any major thing, and kind of taps into your previous question about how did your project change. Our product did not change. We had this concept, we've developed it, we've proven it, and we're scaling it, and it's the same product that we chose to develop. So that was really a mission and a drive to change the industry. Maybe something to do with focus, a little bit more geographic focus, potentially, I don't know, trying to do some relocation into the US maybe, but I don't even think it's a big issue. But really, I think that our obstacles towards scale are not anything that we could have done differently, but more the pace of the industry.
Great. Nessie?
Yeah, it's a very difficult question. If I knew how to answer that, it's something that I will implement in the future, but so far I didn't find a good answer for that. You just go out as fast as you can, do the experiment, and keep iterating until it works. All
Excellent.
the time.
We've got another question for you. This one is, what was the best piece of advice that you actually received when you were when you started your startup?
Asking me?
Yes, why not? If not, what's the best piece of advice would you have to anyone that's starting a startup?
Yeah, I will need to think about it. Maybe someone else want to take it.
Yeah, go ahead, Shimri.
I'll just give my advice very quickly. Go with your passion, go with your dream, and go with your really what sparks you. Don't think that there are any hurdles that you cannot overcome. I think that as long as you have the passion and obviously a good concept, you should just go for it. So that's what I'm happy to share.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Savia?
I'm with Shimrit. I was about to say the same. Know that it's not going to be easy. Have the stamina to understand that if you believe that what you're doing is right, continue doing it. Don't plan. Make sure that don't plan on a plan B. Have a plan A and execute it the best you can, and iterate and be agile as you can. But focus on the end goal and be very clear to where you want to reach.
Great. one more question. What would you say is the thing that you wasted the most amount of time when you first got started?
I think for us, two things. I think that we wasted time on, I think we wasted time on not being clear as to what do we want the end product to look like and feel. So we were very focused on the technology, etc. And then when we were ready to launch it, we didn't have a very clear interface. In our case, we needed an interface for the physician and the patient, right? So, and then we started going around in circles. It should look like that, it should look like that. That should not have been the case. We should have, as we were focused at the back end technology, we should have focused on the front end. And if we've done that, we could have saved us time. And there's always iteration and there's always learning, especially usability of user is not something you identify easily. Or figure out quickly, but I think we could have done it quicker with more focus if we would have start working on it from day one and involve more of those users in the dialogue. That would be for me.
Thank you. I don't know if anybody else wants to add on to this. And if not, I'll pass on to my colleague Anna. Maybe you've got any other questions from the audience.
Yes, there are a few questions, and I will start from the last one because it seems very good for the session. In building your team, and it's a question to everyone. In building your team, you usually bring in the people who would complement your weaknesses. Which of these people did you bring into your team and why?
They're shy. My panel is shy. Who's going to take the question?
I can say something. I think you know there's we're bringing on new people all the time, so I can't necessarily target one, but I can tell you that I think, especially given our goal and our actual reality of working around the world, we at Watergen find it incredibly important, first of all, to have a diverse group, to have diverse viewpoints, people from diverse backgrounds, right, who can help us, I think, see things from all sorts of different types of angles. Because when you're working on a problem as widespread as the global drinking water crisis, so you need to be able to do many different things at once. I think a lot of companies talk about needing to focus. But we're very focused, but we're very focused on a lot of different things because we're not willing to wait in order to deliver this solution to the world. So given that, we need to make sure that we have people, who can look at problems from a lot of different angles, from different perspectives, with different cultural contexts in mind, and understanding that even though our products, our portfolio of products are the same no matter where we go, the contexts and situations where they're going are very different. And therefore, sometimes the model needs to change, the approach needs to change, the type of partner that we're looking for needs to change. And so it's very important to be able to have a group that can think through these things in a way that's multifaceted and in a way that really cultivates different opinions and approaches.
Thank you, Zach. I don't know if anybody else wants to add on their viewpoint.
I would just add that I think it's not weaknesses necessarily, but it's also capabilities. And you need to think about the core capabilities that you're looking for in your team, and then see what complement you. So if I'm very much on the business focus, one of my co-founder, of course, is an AI expert and focus on the technology. And the other one is a cancer researcher, so bring in the medical world. So, and one that is a product. So we kind of identify what is the core pillar of the product that you're, on the solution you're trying to build, and make sure that every one of those core pillar has the best leader that they can build it to based on the joint vision and can take it to the next and grow it and bring it live basically. So I think that's what I would focus my thought when I'm building the team.
Thank you.
Maybe I will add something which is not very popular, but I will say it anyway to make the discussion interesting. Is that I'm a big believer when you start lean and try to do as much as you can on your own. When you bring someone after you know, for example, in my case, I'm a physicist doing medical devices, and I came to agriculture with zero knowledge of what is agriculture, plant protection, and so on. But I tried, and I think that from day one to learn as much as I can on agronomy. And I brought people to the team when I thought that they can teach me something, after I knew something on the subject, so I could also make the judgment of what is the level of proficiency of the individual that I joined to the team. And I think that as a founder and a CEO, a leader of a startup, you need to try to do it as much as you can, which is sometimes not a very popular thought, but this is my belief.
No, it's a perfectly fine thought. I mean, at the end of the day, you're the one that's been doing the startups. So I know Shimrit's got another meeting very soon, and she needs to actually say goodbye to us.
Thank you.
But I wanted to take just 1 second of your time, Shimri, before you go and ask you, how did you feel when your startup was selected by the Times Magazine 100 Best Inventions?
Yeah, that was quite amazing just to get the announcement. It's kind of a validation of the fact that not only your product and technology is robust, it's starting to gain recognition, but also that environmental, clean tech, blue tech technologies can get a stage today, and not only high tech, web. No offense to colleagues that are on the line and have amazing technologies that are AI based or anything, but for me, environment always got, a second place. So that was amazing. And the second thing is that I actually saw the first paper edition when I came back from Paris, receiving the EU Women Innovators Award. And then I see that standing on the newsstand, and I was blown away. It just was amazing. So I think it's definitely a milestone, and hopefully we'll have others. And I really want to thank everybody for the stage, and I'm sorry that I have to jump off. It's been super interesting, and I will leave we will have our details probably, and happy to communicate further with any of the crowd that wants to hear more. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming, Shimrit. Thank you. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure. And I hope we will have an opportunity to work together again. If any of
Absolutely.
the audience wants her details for the company, it's not a problem. You've got my email address. I can certainly send you anything that you need. Same question I want to ask the rest of you, because all your companies, or as I say, Younes in a previous startup, would all actually receive the same acknowledgement by the Time Magazine. Xavier, how was it for you?
It was extremely exciting, and it was a thrill. It was thrill to be acknowledged for the hard work. So we talk about building a startup. There is a lot of low points, right? It's never easy. It's not a fairy tale. The day-to-day is hard work, and then get this recognition that what you're doing is right and is important, and being appreciated is always good. And I think, like Shimrit a little bit, for us, it was the first time that this type of digital health solution focusing on cancer patient got acknowledged. It was funny to see us at the same page as the Dyson hair straightener. But it's important and it gives the importance of, there is things that are cool in improving our life, and there is things that can help save our life and that are being identified. So it was very exciting for sure.
Thank you so much. And Nessie?
Yeah, it's a very nice recognition. It was exciting to see that. For me, the most exciting thing is to see someone using something that I was part of. This is the main thing, the main motivation.
Definitely. Thank you so much. And Zach, I know WaterGen, as you say, has been around for a little while now, but still an incredible achievement. I'm hoping that our director here at the center will buy us one of these lovely machines for the water. And that's what I'm hoping to see in our garden as well. So for all our participants in the future can drink water from, no, she's not, I can see her face. She's not, I don't know, she'll have the budget for that. Anyway, listen,
with pleasure. I also,
oh,
I
well,
see that
maybe
there are
we
some
can get a
questions in
discount,
the
Hava.
side. I see that there are questions on the side, definitely. I see that there are some questions on the side that I didn't have a chance to answer. So please, you know, I'm available by email, watergen.com. Have any questions?
I can put in the chat the email address for Zach, and if anybody wants to get in touch with Zach, also with the rest of our panelists, then you can write to them directly. And I just wanted to thank you all very, very much for taken your time today to be with us. To our panelists, it's been amazing seeing you and hearing you. I can't wait to have you physically here in one of our courses or in our conferences. And I wish the rest of my colleagues, thank you so much for your support today. And wish you a fantastic 2021. All the very, very best from MCTC and Mashav. And we hope to see you soon, very, very soon again. All the best. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. I'm just going to write the rest of the emails.